In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the biggest risk-reward, boom or bust players in this year's fantasy season. First, I have Leviska Chanel from the Jaguars. There's a low chance that he gets tight end or halfback eligibility. If James Robinson goes down, I can't imagine that they're going to run with Carlos Hyde. And they're so already crippled at tight end that even without any injury happening, they just lose all faith in their tight ends. I could see Chanel moving over to there, where he would then become one of the most valuable tight ends in the league. Either way, I do expect him to be a high-volume slot player. They're going to want to get the ball into his hands because that's just what the Jaguars like to do. Chanel is a playmaker, and he can take a lot of the pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. Next up, we have Henry Ruggs from the Las Vegas Raiders. He's absolutely a deep play threat. He's getting bigger to try to fit Derek Carr a lot better, which I think is something Henry Ruggs absolutely has to do, because Carr isn't the type of guy to take huge shots consistently in any type of games. But I do like to hear that Ruggs is getting bigger, because that fits Carr's strengths almost perfectly. He's the wide receiver 1 on a team with not many other options. Obviously, Waller's going to eat, but somebody else is going to have to anyway. Why won't it be Henry Ruggs? Aside from him, I think the other guy's name is Brown, the wide receiver 2. He looks a little tempting, but I'm going to go with the Ruggs. We just haven't seen anything from the preseason to prove to us that he will go off, which is what makes it boom or bust, because he could just end up being the same player we saw last year. For number 3, I have Nicole Hardman. This one's pretty simple. He's going to be the third option for the Chiefs. Obviously, we know they're going to have Travis Kelce. We know they're going to have Tyreek Hill. But Hardman does have a speed that can absolutely kill defenses. He's not going to get nearly as much attention, as I said, because of Kelce and Tyreek Hill. So I could see him really taking advantage of some poor matchups from defenses. I could see them undervaluing how crazy his speed is. And I could see him completely popping off, especially with Mahomes. He likes to bomb it a lot. In the past few seasons, when Hardman did play, he had some ridiculous games. So if we can just get a little bit more consistency out of him, he could be one of the league winners. For number 4, I have Waddle from the Dolphins with the same concept as Hardman. Speed absolutely kills. They already said that they want to get him some screens, some sweeps. They want to get him the ball and just give him a chance to make a play, take more of the pressure off of Tua. And I could definitely see Waddle going off, especially if Tua decides to actually bomb it. I don't know if that's his play style, but if he decides to, go off this year with it, Waddle is the perfect player to match up with him. For number 5, I have Oda Beckham. He's finally had a full offseason with Baker where they took a lot of time to finally figure out their chemistry. If anything, I would imagine that he's going to be a top wide receiver. He might have some low floor games, but I also think he's going to have some ridiculous games in there. With that being said, I think given all the firepower on the Browns offense, there will be some games where they don't use Odell Beckham Jr., but I would definitely expect him to be somewhere in the top 12 conversation anyway, just off of raw skill, assuming he can be healthy. We know his health has been an issue. For number 6, I have Freiermuth from the Steelers. He's their tight end, and this kid is just an absolute stud. He went off in the preseason. What opportunity will he get behind Ebron? We have no idea. But given off what I saw in the preseason, I think you'd be dumb not to pick this guy. He would be as good of a tight end as anybody else in the league, because we know after the first 6, nothing matters. But I think Freiermuth really could put himself in the conversation for top tight end this year as a rookie. For number 7, I have Zach Wilson, Michael Carter, and Elijah Moore, all the Jets rookies. Basically, Elijah Moore is supposed to be an absolute stud, and this would feed into Zach Wilson's value. So if Moore and Wilson both have potential to absolutely pop off together, if the chemistry goes just right, and that actually ends up happening, then that will create opportunity for Michael Carter as well. This could also end up in having game scripts that kill Carter's value if they end up getting behind a lot. Moore could be even more heavily targeted in that case, which ups his value and Zach Wilson's value. But with the opportunity there for Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson to go off, and in that case they give Michael Carter the good game scripts, then Michael Carter could go off. I could see a situation where all of them eat and the Jets are way better than they've been in the past. For number 8, I have David Montgomery, because I'm considering Zach Wilson, Michael Carter, and Elijah Moore all as one. And basically, if Fields ends up being as good as he looks in the preseason and the wide receivers step up like they're expected to, Montgomery could finally have multiple game scripts that actually work for him. And last year, he turned some of these game scripts into the biggest games for halfbacks throughout the year. With that being said, give him a little bit more consistency with the right game scripts, give him more chances to run the ball. I could see Montgomery being a top 14 halfback in the league. For number 9, I'm just going to throw it out there, Tyra Taylor and Philip Lindsay. If the Texans are good, it will involve these guys, but obviously this is there's a small chance if you take one of them, they'll win you the league, but odds are, as we all know, the Texans are going to be absolutely awful this year. For number 10, I have Jawan Johnson from the Saints. If you don't know, he's a wide receiver who's being moved over to tight end, which is exactly why he's valuable. It might be broken. He's about as good of a target as anybody else is on the Saints. He used to play wide receiver, a tight end, receiving a lot, obviously is one of the most valuable tight ends in the league. We don't know if he's going to end up getting any targets, but if he ends up being like the wide receiver we expect him to be, if he's like a wide receiver at tight end and his primary focus is receiving the ball, then he definitely could go off this year. So, I mean, there is also the chance that he's absolutely trash because it seemed like he might have not made the team if he didn't switch over to tight end. But, I mean, that's what we're talking about here. That's kind of the name of the game, boom or bust. If you guys enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.